I don't like those.
You don't like that one? Welcome to the Mark and Will show, discussing the great dating game. We are hosting tonight two great professionals, Kourtney and Kennedy. The floor is yours, Kourtney and Kennedy. How are you all this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, we're doing good. Like he mentioned, we're sisters. We're twins over here.
Yeah. I'm Kennedy. That one's Kourtney.
I thought that was Kennedy. My bad.
And thank you guys for having us on the show. I'm very excited to discuss the topic.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Mark,
Me
hit
too.
him with the first topic, please.
Well, I guess let's kind of get a little background. So, what kind of passions do you guys have? I know I learned a little bit about that you're very into astronomy, right?
Yeah.
What else do you like to do?
Yeah, so I got my degree in physics. I love to stargaze. My passion is really astronomy and physics or anything that has to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I also love to shop. I like jewelry. I like to get my nails and toes done, the normal.
We'll get into that more in a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, that's my passion. That's my drive,
Mhm.
Definitely physics. Ever since I was like 8 years old, I think I was always drawn by it.
Okay,
And yeah.
gotcha.
And myself, we're both pretty much in the science industry. But I recently graduated with a degree in biochemistry. So now I work at an analytical testing lab. And my passion is to not only help people kind of figure out what's in the stuff that they're selling, but also be that person that people are able to communicate to and get answers from and things like that. I also have a fashion company that I'm starting up, and that's also one of my passions, just creating and being creative.
I have trouble finding the creative side because I'm more of a tech guy. So I always have to, when I get ready to take photos, I have to kind of get in that mindset and thinking like different and not following logic. I'm so used to always following logic, and it's really hard for my mind to switch like that. So it takes a little time for me, but that's why I like being creative with photos. So, but yeah. But I guess let's go and get into the dating part of it. So are you both single right now, or are you guys dating someone, or?
Yeah, I'm in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
I met him in 2020, but we kind of made it official in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm single. Yeah, that answered your question.
yeah. No, it did. So, well, I guess the questions can really be for both you guys, right? So, whoever feels comfortable answering. I mean, obviously, some of it may not pertain to you because you are like in a relationship, so that's fine. But getting into it, so would you guys date a dude without a job? Just curious, and kind of why, right? Like,
Yeah, to start off, I don't really think a job is the number one perspective that as a female you should look at, because there's plenty of men that work and then are not maybe loyal or faithful or truthful, and then there's plenty of men that might not have a job but are they have the characteristics that you're looking for. It is very important though to be working, to be able to support your future wife and your kids. So that's very important for me specifically. Like, are you working? Are you able to save money? What are you investing in? Because obviously I want to have a future with you, and all of that's very important.
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
I actually agree with that. It's not everything. It's not what I look for when I first meet a guy. I'm like, well, do you work? But it's definitely a factor in determining in long, like relationship wise. That's something that I would want probably because you're able to provide and sustain.
okay. And I don't want to hog the mic here, Will, but just kind of let me add on to that real quick. So, I mean, you don't want to date a bum, though, right? I mean, and when I mean by bum, obviously I mean by like somebody that doesn't work, right? Somebody that doesn't do anything, that sits at home and expects you to do something, right? Like, I mean, you wouldn't want that, right? I mean, that's not, and I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm just saying, let's say a good-looking dude like came up to you, right, and you thought he was good looking or whatever, right? But and to take it to the next level, right? I mean, you would kind of want to know, like, hey, what can this dude kind of offer my life to make it better, right?
Yeah.
So then the job thing is kind of it is pretty important though, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. Or at least something that pushes you, something that drives you, a passion, something that you're working towards.
Right.
Because I'm very passionate about working towards something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would need that in a relationship.
Right. No, and I like the same thing too. I wouldn't want someone that is going to be a bum or someone that is just going to be posting photos constantly on social media to kind of get attention, right? To fill that void that they may feel. I don't know, right? Like, and I mean, we'll get more into the social media aspect of that, but yeah, that's kind of like what I see as well. Like, I wouldn't want to date like a bum ass chick. I mean, I just don't want that. The thing is, I feel like at this point in my life, I wouldn't want someone to bring me down, right? And I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people is that when they do date someone like that, they're going to pull them down with them, right? It's either you have someone that's going to uplift you and make you better as a person so you guys can become like a power couple, right? Or they're going to drag you in the other direction, right? And that's kind of what I see. So
No, yeah, that's facts. And I do think that, I think a lot of arguments could kind of come up too if you're going to work and you come home and, your significant other is just laying around. It's like, well, what did you do today? Some guys might be okay with it. And same vice versa as a woman, coming home and he's just on the couch playing video games. And it's like, what did you do today? Because I worked and brought this money home. What about you? So I think it could help a lot as far as not getting into those situations that arguing about it.
Right. I mean, money is a big factor in a relationship, right? You know what I mean? So, I think it would cause a lot of drama and a lot of fights. I mean, if you find your partner being lazy, like there's really no gain with that. I mean, but it's weird though. I know a lot of women, and I apologize. I'm gonna stop talking to Mike.
Go ahead.
But I do feel like a lot of women will deal with that though. I think they become okay with it after a while, right? Yeah. Where like maybe in the beginning, maybe the guy had a job, right? And maybe he loses a job, right? And then he kind of becomes, oh, hey, I looked, nothing worked out. And then he gets in that mode where he starts playing video games all the time, right? And I feel like they become okay with that, right? Because they maybe grew together, right? And then it's just, hey, you know what? He's just there, and I'm okay with it or something.
That's the thing. That's why it's very important to know who you're settling with. Because if that does come about and now it's like, well, we've grown so much together, where do we go now? But at the end of the day, you do have to put your feelings and emotions first. And if that's making you feel some type of way, it's making you feel like he's not doing anything or she's not doing anything, then, that's worth a discussion.
Right. Sure. And I feel like you said something about knowing who you're with, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like we really don't know who we end up being with, right? You don't know that other side, right? Because, and I'm going to release, this is something I went through. So I was married for 7 years and I thought I knew this person because we built a business together and everything worked great. We were together all the time. I was raising her daughter and all kinds of things, right? And we were a very close family. We did everything together. And that person just changed like that. Like I thought I knew this person and I thought this person was going to be a good person. And then they ended up cheating on me, and it just led to a bunch of bad shit from that, right? And it's just, man, we were together for 7 years, right? And then we just kind of, I thought I knew that person, right? So it's like, you really don't know who you end up with. Like, I don't know, you think you have the idea of what that person is or the perception of what you want them to be, but I don't think that's reality sometimes.
Right.
So
I feel like going through life, you're not the same person you were 5 years ago.
100%.
And so you're growing and you're changing. But the goal for me personally is that I could grow and change with that person.
Right.
Right. It's not like something in a blink of an eye. It's like what happened. And you can't control that.
You can't. 100%.
So.
Yeah. Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry. I've been.
You spot on. Like at the end of the day, like you're looking at two mature professionals that at the end of the day, they know what they want and they know what they're looking for. So when you look at the dating world today versus, a year ago or 5 years ago, like it's changed tremendously. Like saying what you said earlier, Kennedy, about even having a job, there still doesn't guarantee loyalty. That's very important though, because that shows responsibility, accountability, and the ability to take care of your loved one. Because and what we see today, a lot of individuals that don't have jobs and they're looking for the woman to secure them financially and take care of them, whereas
Mm-hmm.
it should be a partnership, not just, you know, one individual heavily plowing and doing everything on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, so many people in today's world, you know, they really don't understand the meaning of relationship and love and cherishing and things of that magnitude. So that's why it's very important that you align yourself with someone that doesn't have hidden motives and agendas, and that they're properly looking out for your best interest.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. I do think this might be a little off topic, but I do think, unfortunately, maybe fortunately, but men these days aren't really the same as they were. Of course, we have social media now, and I feel like a man getting up, let's say, into working towards his family to provide, you know, having a 9 to 5 or whatever it is, if you own a business, if you're investing in a business. But nowadays, at least I come across a lot of men who are more on the lazy side, more laid back, not trying to do all that. And it's like, you know, a female doesn't want that. A female wants someone that's hardworking, that's driven, working towards the future. And of course, it is a team. It is a partnership that you're doing it together. But I do think a lot of relationship problems arise on that, like the social media stuff, and then the whole you're being lazy and all that. Like, I don't know.
I kind of feel like too that like men obviously have it different, right? I mean, and I know that's your perspective and how you kind of see that. I feel like men have to have like mental stability. I feel like they have to have money, right? And they have to be fit. That's what I think the three main things are for a guy to meet someone that's, you know, I want to say like meet good-looking women, right? I'm just gonna say that in general, right? To meet a good-looking woman, I feel like men need to have those three things. Because if they don't have those three things, I feel like the doors are not even gonna open for that person. Is what I see.
Yeah.
I feel like for men, and that's a lot harder, right? So I feel like all a woman has to do is take a bikini photo, right? Put it on Instagram, and then boom, right? She'll have 100 dudes lined up, right? But now, are those dudes of value? And I feel like that's what you guys face. I feel like you guys have to face, hey, is this person going to be a good person to me? You know, is this person going to be a fucking stalker, right? I mean, is this person going to, you know, treat me well? I mean, all those things, I feel like those are the things that you guys have to look for. But for us, like, I feel like for men, we can't be mediocre. Like, we can't. Like, I feel like we can't even open that door if you're a mediocre, like, male. You just can't do that. I mean, unless you guys see it differently, but that's the way I kind of see it right now because of it's so competitive right now for men, right? And I'm sure it's like that for women too. I'm not going to say it's not. I mean, I get it. It definitely is, but I'm just kind of curious, like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's like you said, posting a photo on Instagram and like immediately so many guys get into your DMs. Like it happens all the time.
How easy is that?
But it's like a question that comes in my mind is like, well, do you want me because of what I look like, the idea of being with me, or do you want me because of what you know about me so far, or are you willing to really sit down and like have a conversation, like a deep conversation, and really get to know each other? And that takes time.
Right.
So it's like from my perspective, a woman's perspective, those questions are coming in my mind when it comes to wondering if I want to date this guy or not. It's like, what do you want to get out of this?
Yeah, and for me, I know you mentioned like a female might look at a guy, okay, does he look good? Is he handsome? What does his wallet look like?
Right.
But honestly, those are not the things that matter the most.
No, I agree, right?
Yeah.
But to open the door, I'm saying just to open that first step, right? Because if you take just, I don't know, like most women on Instagram, right? Like if they won't even open the door with you if you don't have like you said, the wallet, the looks, and if the dude looks somewhat normal or stable, right? You know what I mean? Like things like that, right? You can't even open that door with that individual because chances are that you're gonna basically get passed amongst the 100 of other dudes in line, right? To message her, right?
Yeah, I think that is really sad, honestly. Like me just thinking of it, if a guy was scrolling through Instagram, you know, and then he saw someone and, oh, I'm going to shoot my shot. And then the girl looks, oh, no, absolutely not, because of the way his profile looks, you know.
Right.
Because me personally, you know, those, maybe to open the door, yeah, but I don't think those factors matter, for one, in the long run, and for two, right now, you know. Because, like, yeah, you could take me out to eat. Yeah, we could take photos. We look good together. But there's way more to a relationship than
100%.
that, you know. So
100% agree. And I just want to let you both know I agree with that, and I agree with the part of getting to know someone. But the problem is that you can't even break that barrier unless you visually look the part. Right,
So
because you can't meet that standard, right? Like, and I'm just saying in general, right? I'm not saying like specifically, but
yeah. Like going off of that, like from a guy's perspective, isn't it kind of the same? Like a woman wouldn't really enter your life unless you're like, oh, she has to look this kind of way,
of course,
or she has to be able to do this and this.
100%. I mean, and I think that's, and well, I feel like I'm hogging up the mic again, man. I feel like that's something that I see too, right? It's that. I mean, it's eye candy, right? It's, you know, and I think of it like this too, right? And I asked Will this a while back. I was like, hey, if you have a dude that rolls up in a Lambo, right? Like, and let's just say he's ugly, right? And you have a good looking guy that rolls up in a beat up car, right? What guy is going to get the attention instantly, though? The guy that has the Lambo, right? Because of the eye candy that it comes with, right? And I mean, he could be ugly, right? He could be overweight or whatever. But most, I'm going to just say generalized, most women wouldn't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
They're going because they, and maybe you can help me with this, but I think they see themselves visually part of that circle, right? Now, I feel like they can't potentially stay in that circle because that circle is usually above maybe their own, right? Because if I look at most, and it goes both ways, right? For men too, right? But we each try to elevate with our partner, right? Whether our partner is a little elevated more than us, or we try to elevate to that, right? That's what I think.
Yeah.
But Will, go ahead.